Producers, do you like getting lied to? Of course you don't. You don't like when an artist says, hey, I want that beat. Can you hold it until next month? I will pay for it, I promise. And then next month comes around and they ghost you. You don't like that. You don't like when you buy a sample pack with your own hard-earned money and then you open it up and realize these are just uncleared samples that the so-called creator of the sample pack ripped from YouTube. And fans don't like being lied to either. And now there's this entire generation, this entire contingent of producers who are lying to the fans. Funny enough, everyone said this was going to happen to hip-hop because, you know, us hip-hop producers are so low IQ and ignorant and untalented. It's actually happening to the glorious, ultra-talented and sophisticated EDM scene, where producers make their beats with AI. Not AI assisted, not a little bit of AI, but producers who don't make any of their music. They just use AI and then they release that music to try to pass it off as 100% their own. It's really weird, and it's not just one or two people doing this either. I'm going to talk more at length about this. There's going to be a part 2 of this coming out, but for now I want to watch this one video created by Elijah. I think I'm saying his name correctly. I apologize if I'm not, but he's one of many producers who are actually investigating and exposing these frauds. Let's just watch a little of this. This is entertaining. It got so bad that, well, you'll see if you watch until the end.
Yo, what's up, guys? Before this video starts, I actually want to show you this producer I found on TikTok real quick. His name is Bradley. He made a really sick song, and dude, yeah, just listen to this real quick.
Look at the dude dancing. He's feeling himself.
Like, jeez, dude, like that's pretty fire. And you know what else is pretty fire? That whole song is AI. And you know who can't tell? Hundreds and hundreds of people in these comments. I need this yesterday. Finish this, bro. This Loki sounds like Dr. Pepper. What? It's even fooling real musicians and producers. Boombox Cartel, OK, Ramses B, Haywire, and RJ
Passon's dope. And that's a big problem. I mean, I think a lot of AI lovers will defend AI by saying, well, you can't even tell the difference. And surveys, they're right. Surveys show and tests show that the average music consumer can't tell the difference between an AI generated song and a human created song. That's a problem though, because if you lie about it and you trick people into it, for example, if the average consumer can't tell the difference between a dairy product and a non-dairy product, but there are people who are highly allergic to dairy products, that doesn't mean you get to hide the ingredients. That's fucked up.
I don't blame them. It sounds pretty good, and I'm pretty sure you couldn't tell it's AI either. But to a producer like me and many of you guys out there, you know that this song is riddled with tons and tons of sounds that just scream AI. You'll even see how Bradley intensely defended being a real artist, even going so far as to block me for my suspicions. Not a good look, bro. And in a bit, I can tell you exactly what to look for. But first, who am I? My name's Elysian.
I knew I got his name wrong.
So now we'll get into what I mentioned earlier, and that is how I know these are AI songs. Like I said before, I've been keeping up with AI music for the past year, and while I'm not the best at understanding what goes on in the background of generating an AI song, I know what to look for when it comes to listening to it. And so I'm gonna do my best to help you guys hear what I hear and describe the sounds I'm hearing that make it just super apparent. So there's another guy just like Bradley named Kavo who does the exact same thing. He posts his music on TikTok. He said,
I wonder if he dances around like a fucking goon. Yeah, he definitely does.
Yo guys, I got a new song coming out, and it's all just the same AI that Bradley uses. So what we'll be doing is listening.
Like, it's one thing to make a song with AI. It's another thing to lie and pretend that you made it 100%. And then it's another thing to do one of these dumbass boopity bop dances to the video like you're really feeling yourself.
To Kavo and Bradley songs, comparing them to other AI music and the plethora of real songs that I have. And we'll be checking out a few main things, those being the high end of a song, the low end, and the consistency, among a few other things. Allow me to explain. So from what I understand with AI music, it starts off as just a big fat sheet of white noise, pure noise. And what it does in its process is it looks at real music, the waveforms, the sounds, whatever, and it tries to shape that big block of noise into what it thinks is a song. But
I've said that before too. I think the generative AI programmers have said that too. It's sound, not individual instruments. It's just sound. And that's why the stems tend to sound so crummy, because they're using a stem extractor after the fact. They're not creating the actual song piece by piece. Now that obviously varies based on the platform you're using, but in general, I think what he's saying is correct.
Because it's made from noise, there is so much left over that it's probably impossible to get rid of. Therefore, if it wants to filter some chords, they're probably really muddy. The low end is really muddy. And when it wants to go really bright, it is very compressed. One thing to note real quick, every single song that I'm going to be using are all YouTube ripped MP3s. So they are all being compressed in the exact same process. The first topic, consistency. AI tends to have a really hard time keeping track of things perfectly like a normal song would. Things like snares and tonality of instruments can just change over time, and that's what I talk about here. All right, I got Kavo's song in the project right here. What we're gonna do is take a listen to the first 8 bars of this chorus, and I want you guys to tell me if you can hear anything that sounds weird, out of the ordinary, whatever. Here we go. All right, so in case you couldn't tell, the snare changed 3 times just randomly, just for no reason. So I got the 3 snares that I want to point out right here. Here's the first one. Here's the second one. Suddenly, the tone has shifted down a semitone. The tone is moved down. It just decided it wanted to be a lower pitch than the last one. Okay. And then the third one, which just sounds completely different overall. It's just not even the same snare. And here they all are back to back so you can hear the difference. Now, if you alternate a snare or a clap throughout your song, does that mean you're AI? No, bro. I've done that before. But this one has no rhyme or reason at all. The first snares never come back, and the ones that come after are just thrown in randomly.
Yeah, I mean, I've definitely noticed that too when I've been doing music reviews. A surprising amount of submitted songs are AI. And then number one, I can tell right away. But number two, the formatting, the sequencing is never consistent. It very rarely makes any sense. So you'll hear a hook sung a certain way, and then rather than a 16-bar verse, you'll get like some weird odd number, and then the hook will come in again, but it won't even sound like the first iteration of the hook because that consistency factor is just completely screwed up. It's a dead giveaway.
And this inconsistency is because the AI is trying to remember what was just generated and trying to mimic it, and then it forgets and it fails.
Yeah.
Topic number 2. High end. As I'm about to mention, this is the most telltale sign of an AI song almost ever. They all have the exact same unnatural, robotic, whispery, and weird high-end sound that
This is really the huge tell, especially with vocals. They sound waspy. They sound like somebody's speaking through phlegm, a fan, and rice paper with holes poked into it.
And now we have probably the most standout, worst offense AI music does, and that is obliterating the high end. On this section of Kavo's song that we're about to hear, it sounds like it's supposed to be a big crash, the chords are opening up, it's a nice like, oh my gosh, it sounds so beautiful, but it is being destroyed by the high end, it's being obliterated. Listen. The best way I've heard this AI high-end described is super papery, grainy, sandy, wishy-washy, white noise, high-end, destroyed high-end. One thing that's fun to hear is the amount of AI instruments that is just all over Bradley's songs and all over the songs that I've generated myself. Take a listen to this lead sound from this song that I have. That kind of whistly sound, right? Let's listen to the lead in this Bradley song. That's nearly the same thing, bro. And Bradley's other song, Gold, the same lead can be heard trickled over the chords right here. That almost kind of straining sound that the lead gives when it goes higher up the notes is a signature Suno sound. Here it is again. And here's a very similar one that I have in another song. It has that same weird tinny, metallic-y, robotic sound in there. It's just like it's embedded into the sound, and they're evident in both. One sound I found in Bradley's song that was actually hilarious was this one right here. That kind of crunchy bass lead kind of sound, because that sound is like another staple Suno sound. I have another Suno song that I generated right here, and you can hear the same sound.
Yeah, I mean, it's the reason why when you listen to, and we talked about this, I think back when Aaron was still on the podcast with the Zanaya Monet songs, it's pretty much the same format, the same instruments, and the same coloring of the instruments over and over again. And so far as I can tell, even though that was a year or two ago, things really haven't changed. You know, Suno isn't forward thinking. AI has to look back. And so whatever you're creating today is always going to sound like yesterday, as long as you're creating it with a generative AI platform.
Here's another Suno song that I generated. Listen to these growls. Now here's the growls from the Twitter guy. It's the same growl, bro. It's literally the exact same growl. Another huge staple of the AI EDM design are these really quick stutter glitch fills that it loves doing. Here's that same AI song that I generated from before. Those really fast glitches are also right in this Twitter guy's song. Like, bro, we're not even trying. We're not even trying.
I mean, I think the real bombshell here is the fact that when I go to look up this guy Bradley's music, it's deleted. And I think this video is why. And I wonder if I would find this to be the same case for all of these goofy dancing AI motherfuckers that he exposed in this video.
Okay, guys, I'm looking back at Bradley's TikTok right now. Someone previously accused him of using AI music, Suno AI, to make his song.
Now.
And he made this video. Okay, hold on. He's showing that he's soloing two synth sounds that supposedly he made so you can hear them only. So like as proof of like, oh, I made these sounds, I can solo them. You can
in Logic too, by the way.
see I made them. Guys, the second video he ever posted. What is that top track? What is this? What is this? Wait. Whoa. What does that say? What does that say? No. Oh my God, zoom in. It says synth. It says synth. It has the entire chord synth melody structure in there. Oh my God. Okay. Let me break down why this is such an important find right now. Suno AI, it is arguably the most popular site platform for making AI music. When you generate a song, it'll give you the option to download the stems for that song. When you download the stems, at least for electronic music like this guy's making and what I've seen and I've made myself, when you get the stems, the synths are all grouped into one stem.
Yep.
Suno does not have the ability, from what I've seen, to be able to let you separate melody from chords. Look at his project file. He must have just forgot. The synth stem that he got from Suno is at the top of the project. Oh my God.
We're going to see a lot more of this, and we have seen a lot more of this. There's going to be an entire YouTube content economy based around exposing producers for using AI and lying about it. And it's a damn shame because the magic, the fun of making music is making music. The fun of creating a track that people love is the fact that it took you so much trial, error, blood, sweat, and tears to get to the point where you've created something that people enjoy. That's the fun. That's the magic. It's not about jumping on TikTok, doing some dumbass dance, and playing something that you prompted a thieving ass platform to spit out for you. And I feel bad for these guys that are getting exposed because I don't know what happened to them psychologically where they feel like they're just incapable of ever succeeding based on their own talent and effort. But at the same time, too, this is what happens when you base your entire music career on a lie. Trust me, there are plenty of folks who make all of their music, graphics, sex life completely with generative AI, and they are proud of it. They're open with it, and they find their communities of AI fanboys and fangirls all over the internet, and they congregate, and I don't know what they do, share prompts, go and exist in that space. Because if you don't, there's going to be a guy like this who is on the case. And I'm going to cover another person who has exposed quite a few producers on the podcast this coming week. So stay tuned for that. Appreciate you tuning in. Much success to you, and I will check in with you soon. Peace.